What is up, Rage Nation? We are back with another behind-the-scenes video of what it takes, or at least how we get a radio interview these days. We're joined by Magdalene Rose. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hi.
And, of course, throughout the interview, we're going to talk about her music. We're going to get to some little behind-the-scenes stuff with Magdalene Rose and just have a great time. If you're watching the video now and you want to know a little bit more about us, IndieRageRadio.com. We are an internationally syndicated radio show, and we promote independent and unsigned bands. We also have a digital radio station. All that info is at IndieRageRadio.com. All right, here we go. Segment one. Let me get this. This has been known to fall off on me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. Really pumped up about this show. We are joined. Our special guest is Magdalene Rose. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. Today is a good day to be on Indie Rage Radio.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you brought that up because it is, in fact, a great day to be on Indie Rage Radio. Yeah, I've been following your career for a while, so I'm really stoked to have you on the show. So I really do appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can find Magdalene on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitch. Where do you find the time to do all these social medias?
I feel like I'm just always running 3 weeks behind schedule. So,
Yeah, you know what? I tried to do the whole Instagram and X thing for a while, and I was like, you know what? Forget that. Facebook is our jam.
It's a lot of work.
Yes. You can also find her on officialmagdalenrose.com. She's on Spotify. Everywhere you consume music, she is there. Go download it. Go stream it. Go get some merch at our website. Also, if you're into Linktree/official Magdalene Rose. All right, so Magdalene, look, the Rage Nation, they're a nosy bunch. They want to get to know you a little bit better. So in segment one, we always play a game.
Okay.
And we're going to play 10 rounds with Mikey O. Essentially, It's kind of like this or that. I'm going to give you people, place, thing, few of them, and you just pick which one you like best.
All right.
All right, here we go. Round number 1. Playing at clubs or playing at festivals?
I'm going to have to go with clubs because I think it's just a more intimate experience. I think pushes it up a tier to me.
Mm-hmm. Round number 2, beach or mountain?
I gotta say beach. I'm from Florida, so there's just a nostalgia that comes with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this might go into that one as well. Round number 3, winter or summer?
Summer. I cannot do the cold. My body is so angry anytime it's cold.
Now, I don't know if you guys do this. Do you guys kind of like plan your tours around the seasons? You kind of stay away from up north during the winter, or are you traveling through snow and ice and all that good stuff?
We try to avoid the snow, but I feel like the last couple of years we've still been going through the snow anyway. And I'm like, I wonder why we're doing this, but okay.
Oh man. Round number 4, pop punk or metalcore?
Okay, 14-year-old of myself would be super angry, but lately I've been digging the pop punk a lot more. But 14-year-old self me would just be like yelling at me right now.
But I mean, that's the great thing about growing up. I mean, look, pop punk, so infectious, so happy. Like a great pop punk song could stop me in my tracks. Like I'm gonna listen to it in its entirety.
Yeah.
All right. Round number 5, playlist or podcast?
Playlist.
Round number 6, Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation?
I'm an Xbox girly.
Yes. Awesome. What's your favorite game on the Xbox?
I love any type of zombie games. So like Left 4 Dead and all of the Call of Duty zombies. Those are that's all I want to play.
Round number 7, Coke or Pepsi?
I'm gonna go Coke. I feel like Coke has better options too when it comes to flavors.
Yeah, and it's more of a Southern thing too. I mean, you said you grew up in Florida, so
yeah,
it's a Coke stronghold. All right, round number 8, vinyl, CD, or digital download?
I have recently, like the past few years, been trying to collect vinyls, and I love them so much. I have a vinyl player. I don't use it a lot just because right now I'm in the middle of moving since I just got married, so I don't have space to put it anywhere. But I love collecting all the special edition vinyls that are like the cool colors too. Those are my favorite thing to collect.
Most definitely. Oh, have you ever heard of the band? I can't believe I just went with the whole brain fart thing. I interviewed her like a week ago. Oh my God. Oh, we might come back to that. They have
We'll
some
circle back.
they have some amazing colored vinyl. You got to check it out if you're into that. Oh my Anchor. You spell it just like anchor, but they pronounce it Anchor.
The only reason I know that name is because I saw Conquer Divide is opening for them, and that's how I found out who they
Yes.
were. But I
Yes.
haven't looked into them yet.
Oh man,
Now that they have cool vinyl, I gotta look into them
go
for
to
sure.
anchormusic.com. It's going to blow your mind. Round number 9, Christmas or Halloween?
My birthday is Halloween, so Halloween has a special place in my heart.
No way, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Halloween baby, so I always gotta pick
Wow.
Halloween.
Boy, that's timing. Let's see here. And the finale of 10 Rounds with Mikey O, Mohawk or mullet?
I kind of dig the new mullet. I don't know, like, not so much like the old school mullet, but maybe the new school mullet where it's like an adaptation of it.
Yeah, it's coming back hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's everywhere too. I mean, baseball, hockey, little middle
Yeah.
school kids, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We love the mullets over here at Indie Rage Radio. All right. Thank you so much. That was 10 Rounds with Mikey O. So we're going to talk about your latest single right now, Teeth Eater.
Okay.
Fantastic track. What's the song about?
So I wrote this song about a time when I was struggling with an eating disorder called anorexia. And, I didn't have a lot of resources to like see other people talking about it or, other people's recovery stories when I was going through it. And, my dad helped me kind of pull myself out of that cycle and he helped me through the recovery process. My husband now at the time was just my friend and he was helping me through the process. And just kind of realizing that your identity isn't tied to what number of a scale you are or like what your clothing size is or your image. It's not tied to that. And, I had to do a lot of rewiring of my brain because that perception of self-worth was very warped because of that. And, I think going through that, having my family help pull me out of it helped me just draw closer to God. I have all of my healing. I have to give credit to God for that because it was a very much miracle in that sense because it is a cycle and sort of an addiction that you get caught up in a way. And I never really talked about it online because people feel weird when you start talking about icky subjects, and so I never really talked about it much. Or if I talked about it, I would just kind of like, yeah, I struggle with an eating disorder, but I'm good now, and that was kind of it. And as I started writing music for just the Magdalene Rose project, I wanted to tell my story, and I felt like I was at a place where I could finally, just talk about it and not feel uncomfortable. And the more I started talking about it, the more I realized there was still healing I needed in like just my mental space. And so playing it live, talking about it at shows, talking to other people, hearing their stories has just continued to help me heal, which is awesome. And thought patterns that I thought were just completely gone, they would pop up from time and time again, and I thought that I would always have to struggle with that, but now it's just those voices are quiet now. And the song has just become a sense of healing, not just for my past self but also for my future self and for people that are hearing my song. And I posted a video of getting a tooth tattoo in honor of the song, but also just to do something similar to Project Semicolon to let people know like, hey, you're not alone in this. And it's a very isolating struggle to have, but it doesn't have to be anymore. And a lot of people are actually joining me in doing that, which is awesome. And I've been able to do a couple of tooth tattoos myself because I've been learning how to tattoo, and I'm at a point where I can do small ones. And it's just awesome to hear people's stories and hear people become empowered and find their voice because somebody talked about something that they also struggled with.
Yeah, and I want to congratulate on your growth. I saw a post that you posted the other day around Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
and obviously, one of the things we do here, great in the U.S. of A, is we tie food to family traditions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a great post about how obviously family holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatnot, were always a big source of anxiety for you because
Yeah.
food was coming along with that.
Mhm.
And you said, this year, if you felt kind of free.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's crazy, and, yeah, it didn't hit me until, like, the thing was past, like, the holiday was past, and it was like, "Oh, hey, like, normally that would've been some sort of issue, and I would've at least felt guilty or something, eating with family, but that none of that was there this year, and I was talking to another girl who was struggling, um, with a type of eating disorder that's kind of tied to autism, and so it's kind of hard for her to explain that it's a different kind of struggle, and, so I was just trying to figure out, if some of my tips that helped me would help her, and we were just talking, and I was like, "Hey, this is weird for me to like understand that I didn't have any issues this year." And I fully believe that that healing is available for everybody. And yeah, I just want to be able to share my story with people so maybe they can find some sort of hope in it.
That is fantastic. Here is Teeth Eater for Magdalene Rose on Indie Rage Radio. All right, very cool. Segment 2, we're going to talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are back with Magdalene Rose. And look, you can find her everywhere on the internet. Just Google Magdalene Rose. Look, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, maybe not TikTok for long, from what I'm hearing, right?
Maybe.
Twitch. Or do you game on Twitch? What do you do on Twitch?
I game on Twitch. Sometimes I stream my tattoo practice. Sometimes we just hang out there. I've been meaning to get back on it. We started touring heavily, and so I haven't been able to stream for a hot minute. So I'm trying to get back on.
Nice. Official MagdaleneRose.com. That's the hub where you can find everything. She's on Spotify. Go buy some merch. Go stream her music. Go purchase it. It is where you consume music. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you, Magdalene. Look, this next question is going to be a little stereotypical, and I'm pretty sure that you've answered it a million times, but I am very, very curious because you have an amazing scream.
Thank you.
And look, not too many young girls are testing out their screams when they're young. You know what I mean? How did you who were you listening to that maybe was like, "Hey, I want to see if I can do that," or how did that process go down?
Yeah, so I originally was in a band with my sisters called GFM, and we started that when we were super young. And we were just originally playing covers. And then I think when I was 15 is when we started releasing original songs. And right before we kind of started to get into that writing process, we were still playing shows and we were just a cover band playing like Skillet and bands like that. And somebody told us, they're like, "Hey, you guys kind of sound like this band called Flyleaf, or there's another band called Firefly. You guys should check them out." And we're like, "I don't know who that is." And like little 13-year-old me was like, "Oh, I'll look up what is this band called Flyleaf?" And I had never heard screaming in music ever before. And at first it freaked me out. And I was like, "What is this? This is music? What are you talking about?" But it intrigued me so much that I would like listen to it every day, like, and not like quite be like guilty about it, but like it was like a hidden thing that I was like, "Do I like this? Is this weird that I like this? I don't know if I like it or not." And my older sister, she was like, "Hey, if this is a girl doing this, you should try and do it. I think it would be cool, like when we're writing our own music, if you tried to do it." And I was like, "I have no idea if I can do this. What do you mean try to do it?" And so I was just sitting there, like in our writing sessions with our guitar teacher at like 14, trying to figure out if I could scream or not. And at first, it was not good. Like I probably felt like it was good back then, but looking back now, I know it was not good at all. But, like, you have to start somewhere, and so I just kept practicing, and Flyleaf was one of my biggest inspirations for a very long time. And then I found out about bands like Bring the Horizon and Asking Alexandria, and it was different because a guy was screaming instead, and so there was low screams, and I was like, "How do I do that? I wanna figure that out." And there was not a lot of girls doing that, at least that I could find at the time, now it's awesome that there's so many women that are doing the low screams now, it's really, really cool. And so I would listen to the guy bands and try and get my voice to sound like that, and it was a lot of experimenting and figuring out what worked, what didn't, what hurt my voice, what I should never ever do again because that hurts and it doesn't sound good and it's just bad all over. And now we're kind of in the spot now where it's like I have a little bit of the gutturals, I've got some of the highness there. We kind of play around with the weird sounding screams sometimes, and it's fun. And now it's to the point where it's like, okay, well, how crazy can we get away with being? Where it's like people still want to listen to it, and it's not just random noises we're making. And if we're not laughing, like the song's not going to turn out good, I feel like. So that's where we're at now.
So obviously you've grown in your craft, but 7 years ago when Graveyard of Identities came out, like, look, for my money, your scream at the very front of that song is one of the best of all time.
Thank
Like, it
you.
is so captivating. And I remember showing it to my homie Josh, and his mouth was wide open for like seconds. He was speechless. And then, like, I stopped the video. I was like, "So what'd you think?" He was like, "She's so young." Yeah, that was an amazing scream.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, look, and your parents worked really close with you when you were in GFM. Uh,
Mhm.
what did they say when you guys were like, "Hey, we think we want to incorporate some screaming here"? Because obviously they didn't, you know, I guess I don't know, play music that was that type of music when you were kids. Because you said that was the first time you had heard it when somebody said, "Hey, go check out Flyleaf."
Yeah, my dad was a big, like, '80s hair metal fan, and so, like,
Yes.
the screaming was never his thing. He was like, "What do you mean? What is this screaming?" And then, like, he would listen to Flyleaf with us, though, and he's like, "Oh, I kinda like this," and I think he was the first one that we were able to convince to be like, "Hey, I think this is kind of cool," and then, like, shortly after our mom jumped on board, she was like, "As long as it's not, like, the whole thing, like, you can do it." I think every time we wrote a song, we were able to convince them to let us be, like, heavier and heavier, and, um, just they were like, heartedly supported us the whole time, which is so funny because I feel like a lot of parents are like, "What?" But they're like, "Okay, that's cool. It sounds good." Like, they were just there for it.
Yeah, and look, the music industry has been a wild ride for you. I mean, started off in a band with your sisters, then I mean, you get the attention of Rockfest Records. You meet your eventual husband.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride.
It's always funny and a little bit scary how small the music world really is, and sometimes you just don't think about it, but if you think about it too hard, you're like, "Oh, I can't believe I met that person that way. What? This is weird."
And congratulations
Thank you.
on your wedding and all that good stuff as well. So the next song we're going to talk about is Shark Spray. And if you haven't seen Shark Spray, you got to go YouTube, go check it out. This is a dope video. I mean, you're in a fish tank.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. What's Shark Spray about?
So it was the very first song that we released as Magdalene Rose, and we wanted to put a song out that was kind of speaking to people who not it's so easy to call them haters, but I feel like that's such like such a little kiddie way to call it, but people that, are preying on your downfall, and um even part of the song is written towards myself, or like thinking, "Oh, well, I can't do this on my own." And just writing it to kind of silence those negative thoughts that I was having, and to just give myself a stamp of like, "Hey, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere, and this music is what I am called to do, and we're gonna do it no matter who says they don't think I can do it. Who doesn't believe in us? That type of thing. And I love all of the like really like cringy shark movies, and I really wanted to call it Sharknado, but we're like, I feel like it's copyrighted and for sure get taken down. And we literally only mentioned sharks like one time, but I was like, we have to call it something shark related. Like it's got to be that. And um, my drummer and husband, his dad is kind of like as an acting manager for me. He's like owner of Rockfish Records and everything. And so he was kind of having a meeting with us and he goes, "What about shark spray, like from Batman?" And I was like, wait, okay, that's technically not what he says, so we can't get in trouble. So let's call it shark spray, and I'm sticking to it. That's our story. And so now it's just become like the whole song is themed around sharks. And yeah, it was legit in like this giant fish tank swimming around for the music video. And it was just this whole thing about sharks when we only talk about sharks one time. Like
That is crazy. Where did y'all find a fish tank that big?
So I had to fly out to LA. Me and Blaze flew to LA. They had this big like water tank for photo shoots and stuff. And I was super scared that the water was going to be cold because it was already kind of cold there. And I already don't do well with cold, but then just being surrounded by cold water was a very terrifying idea to me. But it was like a bathtub. They heated it up for me. So I got to just go swimming the whole time.
Nice. Nice. Here it is. It is Shark Spray from Magdalene Rose on Indie Rage Radio. All right, very cool. Segment 3 is at the top of hour 2. We're going to talk a little bit about Jacksonville, kind of like in this, since it's your hometown, like it's kind of like a segment, if somebody's coming to Jacksonville, what restaurant, blah, what venue, stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Segment 3 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com, kicking off hour number 2 with our special guest, Magdalene Rose. Make sure you go find her on your favorite social media platform. She's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitch. OfficialMagdaleneRose.com is the website. That's the main hub. Go get yourself some merch. She's on Spotify. Look, anywhere you consume music, she is there. Go stream it. Go download it. Go support Magdalene Rose. All right, so in segment number 3 here on the show, Magdalene, we usually like to do a segment where, people are coming to your town, and I know, you're on the road a lot now. So we're going to go back to your hometown in Jacksonville, Florida. Shout out to Tony Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and AEW Wrestling. Have you guys ever played in Daly's Place?
No, I have. That's like a bucket list place for me to play. But I have seen an AEW event there. We went to like New Year's Smash one time and it was really awesome.
Like during the pandemic?
I think it was the year right after. So we were still able to get pretty good seats because people were still like, I don't know if we want to go to this sort of thing or not. Yeah. So we got good seats.
Nice. Nice. All right. So people are taking the Spirit Airlines. They're getting in there while Spirit still exists because they just went bankrupt. All right, so they just landed in Jacksonville, and they are hungry. What's one restaurant they need to stop at?
I would definitely say Bonchon. It's great. It's Korean fried chicken, and they double fry it, but they also have, like, a bunch of different other Korean dishes. They have a really spicy tteokbokki, which is, like, little rice cakes, so it's, like, giant squishy noodles in, like, spicy sauce, and it's so good. Everything there is good on their menu.
Is pho Korean?
I think pho is Vietnamese food.
Yeah, sure is.
There's some good spots in Jacksonville too.
Yeah, I love Asian food.
Yeah, Jacksonville is so good because there's so much diversity there because it's kind of like a port, and so there's a lot of different people from different cultures that live there, and so there's just great subsections of the city with authentic food, and it's so good.
All right, so they had some awesome Korean chicken. They want to go watch a rock show. What's a venue we need to go to? And we're not talking about stuff where, no disrespect, the traveling bands come through. We want to see some like homegrown, like 100, 200 people in here squinched up like sardines, sweating on each other type venue.
One of my favorite venues is, I always switch the numbers up, I'm pretty sure it's 1904 Music Hall. I always mix the numbers up, so if that's not right, that's on me because I just threw the wrong numbers out, but I want to say that's the right one. We grew up playing at that venue. We went to shows at that venue, and it's one of those where there's no chairs. It's just all standing room, and the stage is like in the back half of the corner, and then everybody just files in, and it's this big box, and you just listen to music, and it's so cool. It's one of my favorite ones.
I went to a show in 2001 in Conroe, Texas, which is right outside of Houston. And it was like an old skating rink that this guy turned into a venue. And it was Project 86, Stave Saker, and Living Sacrifice. And there were so many people in this place that the condensation from our sweat was forming fog.
Oh!
And it was so wet in this place. It was almost a death trap. And then Andrew got up there one time. He was like, look, guys, take it easy out there. People are getting hurt. It was nuts. Have you ever been in that situation?
I haven't been quite where there was a fog, but I've been in a few venues where it gets a little hard to breathe because it gets so humid in there.
That's crazy. I couldn't believe it. All right, so they got some awesome Korean chicken. They caught themselves a rock show. They're looking to nightcap it. Where's some fun stuff to do, like go-karts or like an amusement park or arcade?
There's now the name's gonna leave me. There's like a barcade in Jacksonville, and the whole thing, like, it's a brick building, but the entire outside is graffitied with like giant pictures of Mario and Sonic, and I think there's some Mortal Kombat characters on the side too. But then you go in and it's filled with pinball machines, and it's so much fun. They have like some of the old school like arcade games as well, and you just get like a little, instead of using quarters, they give you a little like a game card, like a Dave and Buster's, and you can just use that to play all the arcade games. And I think you still need to use quarters or something to play the pinball machines, but like it's so fun. And I can't remember what it's called. It might be Level Up Arcade, but that might be what it's called.
If that's not the name, that's what it needs to be.
That's what it needs to be if that's
a cool
not the name.
Look, let me write that down because I'm pretty entrepreneurial. If I ever want to level up.
Yeah. If it's not taken, you need to take it. Copyright it right now.
Yeah. I like that. I'll send you a royalty on that if I ever do it.
Yeah, we'll split it.
All right. So speaking of nostalgia, this next song we're going to play. Look, growing up as a young youth group kid, I was really into the Christian metalcore scene. And when I saw that you had Spencer Chamberlain on a track with you, the young Mikey O was doing the Balky Happy Dance from Perfect Stranger. That's a little bit too old, I know. But that was one of the shows I watched when I was a kid. And man, what an amazing track. So how did you get in touch with Spencer? How did it all go down for the track Bad Residential?
It's one of those things where it just like, I honestly don't know how it happened. Like, we sat down because I wanted to have a feature on like the first EP I put out, because that was something that we never really got to do with GFM. And so we just had like a list of, I think, like 8 bands that we wanted to reach out to that were like, okay, well, there's some bands that probably definitely won't answer us right now, but these bands are like, they might answer us, but there's probably a good chance they won't. And I think we ended up going with that instead of like, oh yeah, these are probably definitely going to answer us. I think we shot for the stars, and sent all of their managers an email. Was like, hey, this is our song. We would love for people to play on it or sing on it. And like, here's our first song we released. It's called Shark Spray. If you like this, we would love to get on the phone with you. And Spencer's manager, which I think is Underoath's manager, he responded back. And he was like, hey, I think Spencer would love this. I think you would love the idea of the song. I'm going to show it to him. We'll see what he says. And like, I think pretty quickly after that, we got an answer back. He was like, yeah, Spencer loves this. He wants to jump on it immediately. But we never, like, that was all the communication we did. It was all over email. I never was on the phone with Spencer. Like, none of our managers were on the phone together. Like, and so it's so weird. I still have never met him at all. Like, I was on tour with Seventh Day Slumber. He was on, I think they were doing a headlining tour at the time. And so he literally was like, he would record stuff before he went on stage, like in their hotel, send it over to us. So we would have some takes to work with, and we would send it to our mixing guy. And it was just like, that was how it went. So we've never actually spoken to each other. I still don't know him. I don't even know what he sounds like outside of his singing stuff. But it was crazy. And the whole time I was like, I really think we're getting scammed right now. Like, I don't think this is actually Spencer Chamberlain. Until I didn't believe it until I got like his takes back, and we just all listened to them, and they're just raw singing because that's how you have to mix it. And so we just sat there and listened to all of his takes to like convince ourselves that this was real. Because I grew up listening to them. My drummer, he grew up listening to them. The guy that was playing guitar and the guy that was playing bass for us at the time both grew up listening to them. And so we were just like sitting in the front lounge, just like listening to raw vocal takes. And then we all just started laughing because we're like, what are we even doing right now? Like, we just reached out to them and they said, yeah. And like, Underoath is going to be on our song. Like, this is so completely like unpredictable for a band our size. And we were just in shock, I think. And it was just the most crazy thing ever. And like, it's still so surreal being like, oh yeah, Spencer Chamberlain sang on one of my songs. I'm like, what did I even just say? What came out of my mouth just now? Like,
Now look, I'm pretty good at this next thing I'm going to do here, Magdalene. This is actually how I got the interview with Encore. I'm just going to throw it out there in the universe. Okay.
Okay.
With the Encore thing, I did a reaction video to their latest single, Shigoni. And I was like, hey, you know, Encore, if you're ever watching this, blah, 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 your manager told me to kick rocks, but I would love to interview you. And Jesse, the lead vocalist, reached out to me. So, Spencer, if you are watching this right now, or anyone that knows Spencer, just Google Magdalene Rose. She's everywhere.
Please.
And hit her up in a DM, and let's get Magdalene and Spencer on a video call. We don't want a phone call. We want a video call.
Please.
Yeah. I mean, he was on her track. Come on. Let's make it happen. Speaking of that track, let's go ahead and play it. Here's a Bad Residential on Indie Rage Radio. All right. Hopefully that comes to fruition.
That would be awesome.
Look, I'm 1 for 1 so far. So if it does happen, let me know.
Okay. And if it happens, I'm coming to you for everything I need.
Yes. All right. Segment number 4 is the last segment of the show. It's kind of like we're up against the clock. It's the last song of the show type thing. We're putting a bow on everything.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Segment 4 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. Sadly, it's back again. This is the final segment. We do it every show. I know. It bums me out too, but we only got a 2-hour slot on this radio station, so it's got to happen. Magdalene Rose has been our special guest. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitch, officialmagdalenrose.com. Go stream, go purchase her music, go buy that merch. Help support out Magdalene Rose. Magdalene, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, we have had a blast tonight. And if you missed this episode, if you're just tuning in now and you're like, oh, I like to have fun, swing over to our website, IndieRageRadio.com. Every Sunday, we post on demand the episode of that week. IndieRageRadio.com. Just click Radio Show. All right, so Magdalene, what does the future look like for Magdalene Rose? What's going on?
We have so many things to announce this year.
Uh-oh.
And we have so many things to announce this year, and I am so excited for them. Lots of traveling to places we have never been before. That's all I can say at the moment. Lots of touring, new music, lots of stuff is going on. And I think right now we're just trying to run around and figure out what we're allowed to say, when we're allowed to say other stuff that we can't say right now, when we want to just let the whole world know about everything that we're doing, and it's so hard to keep all of it a secret.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Hey, I don't know if you guys have ever been approached, but I saw, shout out to 13 Minutes. I'm homies with Jamie, their lead singer. And they played a festival in Mexico last year, and Convictions was the big headliner, but it's on top of a volcano.
What?
I think it's called Exito Fest.
Oh my goodness, I need to reach out to them.
Yeah, look that up, because I was like, that is the dopest festival of all time. It's on the top of a volcano. I mean, it's
I gotta figure
dormant, but
out.
I mean, what volcano is actually really dormant?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Scientists
Yeah.
are wrong all the time. Like,
So check that out. So you got a lot of stuff. I mean, look, you guys are absolutely killing it. Keep up the hard work. I know it's got to be an absolute grind being on the road almost all year long, but you guys are doing fantastic stuff. You're delivering a great message. You're a great role model for young
thank
girls.
you.
And man, I tell you, and look, you're graphic artist, whoever that cat is, you know, I got to tip the cat, because every one of your graphics that comes out is top notch.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. So the last song we're going to play is Guerrilla Warfare. What's the song about?
So I was dealing with a lot of anger, a lot of just like uncertainty. And so my first resort was just like, oh, I'm freaking out. I'm going to be angry. And it was affecting my relationships. And, you know, I was holding on to a lot of bitterness, a lot of just things that were basically poisoning me from the inside out. And I just had gotten tired of letting that anger control me and letting it, you know, dictate how I was going to live my life. And so I was like, I'm going to write this song. I'm going to get it all out and then I'm going to move on. Like, I'm going to be done with this. And it's kind of awesome that I'm able to have that like release on stage every night too. Just because, you know, things always happen in your life that are going to upset you. It's just kind of the way the world works, that things are good and then things are bad. And so I have that release every night where it's like I can just get on stage and scream about things that make me angry and then I'm good. And people are like, "Oh, you're so soft spoken off stage. Oh, you would never know." I'm like, because I got anger management on stage 5 seconds ago. What are you talking about? Like, and it's really just kind of personifying those feelings of anger and, you know, trying to basically live up to the things that people are saying about you and becoming the villain of your own story. And that's exactly what I did not want to do. And so I was like, I'm just going to put it into words. That way I don't become this thing. And, you know, it's kind of, it is a release in that way, but it's also a warning for myself. Like, hey, this is what could happen. You know, you could be overcome by this anger if you're not careful and not keeping control of it. And that's something that I love so much about, you know, being in rock music, having that heavy side of things, because it is such a good release for negative emotions. And, you know, not just for me, but for people in the crowd, people who can relate to the song, or even if they don't relate to the song, just there's something going on and it's heavy and they love that and they can just get it out in a positive way. And then they can go and actually fix problems in their life then after that. And I think music is just such a good outlet for any type of emotion. And it really is anger management for me on stage every single night when it comes to that song. But it is just so like out there. And like it's not like there's not crazy tunnel screams in it or anything, but it's just screaming the whole time and it's like bouncy. And I think it's just, it reminds me to have fun at the same time on stage. And we try to do like dumb things now, me and my band members, just to make each other laugh on stage. And so I don't know why, but that song is always the one that I'm like doubling over in laughter. I'm like, I need to continue doing this. It's the chorus right now. Like it's obvious that there's nothing going on, but I can't stop laughing. And I think it's just it's awesome as an outlet.
Here it is. She is Magdalene Rose. I am Mikey O. This is Guerrilla Warfare on Indie Rage Radio. We'll see ya when we see ya. All right, very cool. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I
Hey,
do like I was honest. This was so much fun to do. Sometimes
well,
interviews
thank
are
you.
like, "Yeah, my name is Magdalene Rose, and this is my backstory."
I appreciate that. We try to have a good time around you. Before you leave, can I get a drop from you?
Yeah.
Just anytime we're recording right now, to say, hey, this is Magdalene Rose. You're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Okay. Hey, this is Magdalene Rose, and you're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Fantastic. Thank you, ma'am. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
Bye bye.